Howdy folks, welcome to the 3D Sapiens Roadshow. We are about to get down with some ropes. Anyway, okay, so if you saw the health segment that I shot a little while ago, there's a Subaru over there. You can barely see it through the trees. We are at the poison switch on, me, myself, and I, are at the poison switch on the Fresno River. This heads down, ends up in Madera. But there used to be a flume that ran down, and this is one of the places that they would recharge it with water. And in the flume, they would put lumber that they cut up in the foothills up here and send it down like the original water slide. Anyway, so we're looking about northeast. North is about that direction. Campsite's over that direction. Notice the car going by there? That is the Raymond Road between Highway 41 and eventually down to Madera. It runs through Raymond. So the campsite's up that direction. As you can see, the weather has today's been good, but it's the first day in many days. It's been rain, rain, rain. Up here, of course, it's been snow, rain, slush, whatever. So, but I finally got a clear day, so wanted to do the rappelling part. So the gear is down here, but once again, let me point out where we are. Notice the hole right there. I believe that might be an Indian grinding place where they ground acorns from oak trees like these that are now dying. But they ground them into their wheat to make their kind of bread and whatever. Anyway, so north is about that direction, east that way, south Oakhurst is that direction, and then towards the west. Okay, so what we're doing today, again, this is the introduction to the rappelling thing. Wanted to show you the equipment real quick, and I've got it set up on a couple different locations here. That's what the rope looks like when it's bundled up. These are 50-meter ropes, which is about 165 feet, I believe, something like that. I've got 3 of them right now, so actually one belongs to Leo and Dennis, but anyway, so I'm using all of them right now. That one just to show what it looks like when it's all bundled up. I've got one that's tied up to that tree over there, and I have another one that's tied up to this tree over here. So, I don't like tying knots. If at all possible, I'd rather loop it over something, make it a lot easier, and I don't have to worry about knots. So, I have a saddle on, looks like this. But this is what they look like when they're not on. They look kind of like an octopus or something, and they're about that. It's like herding cats trying to get it on. This is a small, this is a large, extra large. That belongs to Ben, actually. And then I have also a large, I think, maybe extra large. Anyway, a couple helmets. I generally don't use them unless I'm like at someplace like a quarry or someplace where there's rocks coming down. Gloves, a variety of gloves will usually suffice depending on how fast you're going and whatever. Personally, I prefer the old work gloves, so this is what I tend to use right here. Now, attached to the saddles, see, there's basically 2 parts. There's the leg part and the waist part. And the 2 are connected with a loop of fabric. And theoretically, you could hook onto that. But I like security, so I use a carabiner in between the 2 as well. And then I hook my carabiner onto that. Okay, so these carabiners right here, these are the locking kind. Also good for paragliding. So you open the thing up, you're going to put the rope in, and I'll show you how to do that real quick. Again, helmets for new people in case they get off balance and whatnot. It's a pretty good idea. Good footwear. Notice the work boots kind of thing, hiking boots, something like that would be good. And then, of course, the backpacks I put all this stuff in. Little pruning shears, which I cleaned up a route there, right there, just to keep the ropes out of all the brush and stuff. So those are handy too. Alright, so I think we're ready to go here. I was going to go with this one here. Now, this is a pretty good student rock. Notice it's not even very vertical. There's a couple places down towards the bottom where it gets a little vertical. So it's a good little rock to start on. Also, I might just start somebody all the way down on the bottom, and I'll show you when I get down there. But, so let me clip on real quick here, and I'll show you how this works. If I can set the camera down so you can see here. Okay, so we're tying on to this one here. You want your carabiner, basically when you put the carabiner on, you want it to be kind of like a number 6, like that. And then you're going to hook into the thing. Again, I've got the loop and the carabiner, which is already locked, as a precaution. So I'm going to take this thing like a 6, number 6, hook it into here, through both of them, spin it around so that the bail, or this gate, whatever you want to call it, goes down like that. Now, when you're ready to tie into the rope, you take it from the top, kind of across that 6, just let it fall in, hold it down here, take it from the top, loop it back around, just drop it in again, lock your carabiner, make sure it spirals around pretty, and you're ready to go. So now we get the gloves, and actually I'm only going to wear one because I'm actually going to take the camera down with me when I'm going, so this could be interesting. Okay, so we are tied in, and important thing, you need to keep the slack out. Once you've tied up, you need to keep it straight so it spirals down nice like that. Now, the way it works to control the speed, your hand is going to be as far around as possible. Okay, I'll show you from over here. Okay, so your hand is going to be over here, as far around as possible. I'm going to be doing a couple different clips. If you can't see very well right now, you'll see it from a different angle here in a minute. But just by holding the rope, letting it slide through your fingers, you can control your speed. And the farther around you are, the easier it is, because more of the tension has been taken up by your body instead of your hand. What a lot of people try to do, this is a newbie, no. They try to hang on here. Well, then you're hanging on. You don't want that. Put it all the way around, and then it's real easy. And I'll show you when I set the camera up at another place, where when you loop it all the way around, like to the other side, and hold it with the left hand, you don't need hardly anything to hold on. So, again, we've got our slack out, and I'm just backing off the thing here. I need to hold on to this a little bit. And again, this rock is big enough, or small enough, I should say, where the height shouldn't freak anybody out. And this is how I do it. See, because rappelling, one of the things I love about rappelling, it's a great gateway sport, where if you like really want to try skydiving but you're kind of afraid to, well, doing something like this is a good way to get acclimatized, so to speak, to get ready, to get over the whole adrenaline and fear and all that kind of thing. So you start small, work up to bigger cliffs. By the time you're doing what I call extreme rappelling, where you are basically covering 100 feet in about 2 or 3 jumps. When you get to that stage, it's almost like skydiving. And after that, when that gets boring, then you are ready to skydive. So, anyway, so we start slow, something like this. Now, this is a dynamic rope. Dynamic. It will stretch a little bit, so you need to lean back into it and get the slack out. Now, another thing that's very, very important, and actually a mathematical thing, which I may do a segment on, is staying perpendicular. When you walk, you stay perpendicular to the ground, right? Well, what happens a lot of times, as soon as people start getting more perpendicular to the ground, they still think they need to stay perpendicular to the ground. In other words, next thing you know, they're sliding down the face of the cliff. You have to lean back into it. Right now, it's at about a 45-degree angle, a little bit more, getting now to about a 60-degree angle. You need to lean back into it. If not, you're going to have problems. Next thing you know, you're trying to stand up, and your feet are slipping out from you. The other thing, notice the rope and my t-shirt. Things like that need to get tucked away. Notice my hair. I have long hair if you've seen it before, but anyway, that gets tucked up as well. But at any rate, while all this is going on, here I am. Okay, so this should show you that this is not a terribly difficult thing to do. Alright, so you just continue on down, this little rock right here is another good, maybe even the very, very first starting rock before even going off what I just went off, would be going off this little thing. Because it's only about 3 or 4 feet. It's a little bit more vertical. And one of the things to get more comfortable, and once you really start enjoying yourself, is playing around, walking around on the side of the cliff, bouncing around, jumping around, hopping around between ledges and stuff like that. It's just like a giant swing that you can kind of steer it a little bit where you want to go. At any rate, so here's what we look like. And last thing, when you are done, you want to walk off the rope because you'll see it spiraling. See, it spirals through the carabiner. It spirals through the carabiner and spiral, spiral, spiral. That's what slows you down. And if you don't walk off the end of it when you get done, all that spiral will stay in there. Next thing you know, it'll be all tangled up. So when you get done, walk all the way off to the end. Now, I was doing all this by myself because nobody loves me. Anyway, normally you would be with somebody, like if I'm teaching you or whatever. You're going to have somebody on what's called belay, which is somebody down here on the ground holding on to the end of the rope. And once I do get some people, you will see that just by holding on to the rope, you can stop a person from going down. I mean, I learned this in the Army back in 82. And one of the reasons, I mean, aside from getting down things, cliffs and whatever, when you're out in the field, is for lowering equipment. And you could literally lower equipment or a wounded soldier or something like that. You know, something or somebody that cannot control their own descent. That's how easy it is. So, there's another way of doing it, which I showed you pictures back at the nest, that involves the rope going through this. It's kind of like a extended figure 8 thing. I don't like that because it's really slow. With the extreme rappelling that I'm talking about, you want it to be able to go fast, and this is the only way to do it. The only problem, of course, when you get down, you're going to need to, if you're doing the extreme rappelling, you will need to exchange carabiners between jumps because they get pretty hot. They are rated for 5,000 pounds. The ropes are rated for like 5,000 pounds, so nothing's going to break, but just to be careful, I don't like hot carabiners because metal shouldn't be getting hot. So I will change carabiners between big jumps, but something like this, it's no big deal. But you do want the gloves because of the heat thing. And when you go to take the carabiner off after a big jump, take them off with your gloves because they'll probably be hot, like I said. All right, well, that pretty much concludes the introductory rappelling session here. I'm just going to walk around the rock here to show you what I've been up on. I'll be doing a couple other clips here. I'm going to put the camera down on the ground so you can see coming off of this thing, which I don't trust very well because it goes around a tree. Anyway, long story short. I'll be doing that shortly, but this concludes the introductory video, so thanks for paying attention and tuning in. And hope to see you out here sometime. Again, I'm always looking for people to teach and use as models or whatever, actors on the, guinea pigs on the show. So if you're somebody around here or going to be around here, let me know. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Adios.